Hello everyone, Zelrinth here, and today we're going to kind of go over some things to kind of expect on release day of Girls Frontline to Exilium. So the first thing is that there are the two different servers, with the Dark Winter one coming out December 3rd, and then the Halo Play one coming out 2 days later on December 5th. We did get now official times of when these will be coming out. And so for me in North America, who will be having it released on December 3rd, it looks to be that it's going to release at 6 a.m. in the morning. Which is really nice because now I can just take vacation on the 3rd and then go ahead and just start playing it immediately. And then on release, when it comes to the limited banners, we have been shown both of them over the last couple of days here on X. And so we take a look. The first one we're going to have here is Suami, who is, I've already kind of done a video on her, kind of taking a quick look at her skills and all that. I do plan to do a more in-depth look at her once I actually acquire her on release day. But she's a very, very good support unit that will also be able to heal your team. She pretty much can do everything on the support side of things and is going to be like a must grab for pretty much everybody on release. And then she has, when it comes to her SRs coming with her, she's going to come with Graza and Kolfine, both also very good SR units that you will want to use within your teams, especially at the beginning when you're going to be limited on the units that you have. And then the other one that has been announced will be Alrid, and then on hers, her SRs are going to be Cheetah and Nemesis. I haven't actually gone over her kit yet, and I plan to do a video on her here soon. The big thing with her is that she is a melee unit. She does have some range capabilities, and she has a stealth mechanic. Now, the stealth mechanic in this game works a little bit similar to anyone who's played sort of Convallaria Cole, where it makes it where she can't be targeted while she's in stealth, but she can still be impacted by AoE. One of the negative things of her coming out at the same time as Suami is that she is not nearly as good as her, and so I can expect a lot of people will be skipping her just because Tsunami is going to be the big one to go for. But for anybody that likes her or is wanting to get some of these SRs, maybe after acquiring Tsunami, you can kind of throw your limited banners at her and see if you can get lucky. And with that, we can kind of take a look and kind of get a guess of how many pulls we're going to get at the start of the game. Now, they do have all of the launch rewards over here that they've added onto X, kind of showing everything we're going to get right at the beginning of the game is kind of just quick and easy rewards through events, as well as redeem codes. So they did officially hit 5 million pre-registration milestone rewards as of today. So this one is giving us the 20 access permissions. So these ones that are a little bit more gray, they are the ones used for the standard banner. And there will be a guaranteed beginner's banner, so you can get guaranteed on one of the standard units right off the bat. Then it gives us 600 collapse pieces. So these are the currency that will be used to buy pulls as well as other things from the shop. Whenever I play any gacha, these are premium currencies right here. I always use them for getting pulls pretty much every time. And so we'll get some pulls out of that. Some of the gold, that is used for upgrades, as well as combat reports for upgrades, and then as well as the Cheetah standard SR unit that we'll be getting. And so that we have that. And then at the beginning, we will have our first little mini check-in event that's going to give us some more currency for pulls, as well as another 30 access permission pulls, as well as then a free limited outfit. And then from there, we also have the Global Release Celebration that's going to give us 5 targeted access permissions. And these targeted ones are what are used on the limited banner. And then the 5 standard ones. And then we have the Elmo Startup Event rewards coming from another event, giving 10 targeted access ones, and then beginning rewards for another 10 right here. And then a small treasury just for going on Discord and X. You can get a couple of your collapse pieces here that'll go towards pulls. And then we also have redeem codes. Now, it doesn't state what you will get with these redeem codes. What it does say, within 1 month after release on December 3rd. So you'll have plenty of time to redeem these. You'll just redeem these right off the bat. I'm going to guess it's going to give some pull currency, but we'll kind of have to see once the game actually releases. But we'll probably get some pulls from there. And then we have appraisal objectives for the current event that'll be coming out right at the launch. And so in this one, it's going to give us 54 of the standard access permissions, some more of that currency that can be used to buy pulls, as well as the gold. Looks to be some special outfits that can be gotten, as well as some SR units, and then some skins for your weapons that we'll be getting on the official launch. Now, this is just kind of the launch level type stuff. And so right now you might be thinking, doesn't look like you're getting much in terms of pulls, but this is just like that initial wave of stuff you're going to get right off the bat through like login rewards and events. This isn't including the standard amounts that you're going to be getting for completing content, which I'm expecting, just like any other gacha, to eventually at the beginning collect a ton of these collapse pieces so that we can get like a good chunk of limited pulls right off the bat. From everything from what I've read, we should be getting enough to guarantee at least one of these units here that'll be releasing on release. And so Tsuami should be able to be acquired by everybody if they do all the content right off the bat during her banner. So just kind of expect to have to run through the content if you want to get her. Now, there is an ability to reroll in this game, and Pridewind has added onto their guide here an update on how to reroll over this game. And you'll see from a lot of people, including myself, who said you don't really need to reroll in this game. But I've been kind of debating back and forth on whether I want to do it or not. Now that they have put out that the game will be releasing at early in the morning on the 3rd, I definitely think I will be going to attempting rerolling, because that gives us plenty of time over the day to try and get what you want initially, and then you can go from there. Usually I don't like when it's later in the day doing the rerolling, because usually if you can't get what you want fairly quickly, you might miss like a day of login rewards and all that. And so rerolling can have its own negative impact in that way. And so the big thing, and the reason you're going to want to reroll, in my opinion, is going to actually be related more to the standard units rather than trying to get Tsuami right off the bat with early pulls. And because one of the reasons is when you're rerolling, you're trying to reroll and get your quickest pulls immediately, make them, see if you get lucky, and then restart if you don't. Now, we know on the launch, we're getting all these extra pulls here, especially like if you do the events, but they're going to take so much time, it's better to just get that initial wave of pulls that you're going to get right off the bat. And so we know we're going to get the access permissions 20, so we know we'll get 20 standard pulls initially. We're not going to have these check-in rewards, so you're not going to have these pulls for re-rolling. We have these global release celebration ones we're going to get, and then I don't know if we're going to get any of these. Maybe some of these collapse pieces we'll get right off the bat, but the goal is to, like we say down here, get immediately to when we unlock the banners to pull, use whatever currency it gives us through the mail through the start of the game, see if you get lucky. After that, then if you don't get what you want, quit and restart again. And so there's going to be two ways that you can approach this. And they actually list everything you need to do here on Pridewind. Now, they do have a guide on your priorities when it comes to the standard units, if you're going to be focusing on trying to get a standard unit that you specifically want. So it has Tololo and Quangju and Sabrina kind of at the top here on the reroll value. These three I've already covered because I already had known they were going to be kind of the top picks for who you want to get right off the bat. Now, Sabrina actually I'd say is not one to target, simply because you will be able to farm her through doing the content. So you will actually be able to max her dupes eventually. Tololo is another one where she's going to be really, really good in the beginning of the game, but I think end game more than beginning than anything else. So Quanju is pretty much, if the only person that I would say you want to re-roll for is going to be Quanju, because she's really good as a standalone unit, and she gets even better as you start getting dupes. So you just want to get that first copy of her as soon as you can. And so to me, she's going to be the main one that you're going to want to target over them all. These other ones, you can eventually get Parita through just gameplay, so she's not going to be one to target. And these other ones are just a lot weaker. From what I understand, Vepli is actually already power crept by an SR unit, so you definitely don't really want to target Hor or Mosin Nagant. And so these are the SRs, or the standard SSRs that you can go for. But then you have the raid ups. These ones will be significantly harder to reroll for, because you're not going to have a very big initial wave of these limited tickets to throw on them. And just by looking at the launch, it looks like you're only going to have 5 pulls. So if you want to target getting Tsuami early, man, you're going to be doing a lot more rerolls to guarantee that, because the gacha in this game is not as friendly in terms of the rates as some of the other ones that we've played, like Sword of Convalari at their 2%, and then the 1.2% of Ash Echoes that I'm playing. This one's following Holyverses, and so you have that 0.6% chance to get the unit you want here. And so that's pretty low, especially with only 5 pulls. If it's only going to be those 5, I don't know if there's anything else, but just looking at that launch banner, we're only going to have 5 pulls on that. And so it's going to take a long time to get that specific unit you want. And then you're going to get them and then you're going to pretty much call it at that. And then so you're going to have to just take a gamble on your standard unit. Well, I think the standard units is more important just simply because there's a bunch of them and the only way to really acquire them is through your standard pulls on the standard banner. And you have no choice on who you get. It's random on who you're getting when you go over the standard banner. And then you can also get one of the standard weapons and rather than one of the standard units. So that even makes it worse right there. And since you're wanting to kind of start accumulating dupes, especially for like Qingju, it's going to just take even longer to get them over time. While at the limited units, you are guaranteed, if you lose your first 50-50, you're guaranteed to get her on your second one. And with a pity, I think, of 80, you're guaranteed to get the unit after 160 pulls, no matter what. There's no risk of just keep getting a crap unit like on the standard banner. So I would not want to reroll at all for trying to get the limited units. And so this kind of goes over them on their pull value. And you can already see Xiaomi's the amazing one. I mean, if you were going to do it, she's the one you're going to do it for. You're not going to want to do it for Allred. There's very limited use in her, a lot of cons to her kit. Now, they show there's a couple ways that you can go through this. So the way I plan to do it is going to be through an emulator where you're going to use guest accounts and you can just keep going through guest accounts until you get what you want, and then you're going to make it an official account. But the other way is then just cycling through emails. And I don't like that idea because I want to have my game attached to my main email. So that one's just a no-go, but just cycling through emails is just basically making a new account every time you want to do it. So if you're on the phone, that's pretty much the only way you have to do it. But on PC, if you have one good enough that can run the emulator, you want to do it through emulators, that's how I will be doing it. They have 2 paths you can go on Rerolling here. And so the first one here is the Hell path, and this is one I already kind of discussed. This is trying to get that, the limited SSR that you want. And then they also have in here, and this is taking the luck to another level, because they say you want to get that limited one and then shoot for the an SSR from the standard banner that you want, because you have more pulls on that. But that's going to take 100+ reruns to do, and with it taking about, from what I've seen, 15 to 20 minutes to do this, you may go multiple days trying to pull this off, and by going those multiple days, you risk losing some rewards from the login events. And so I would definitely not go this path. The Heaven path they have over here on the difficulty of medium, this is just focusing on getting 1 to 2 SSR characters in the beginning standard banner. Now, it's basically going through the tutorial, like they say here, getting those initial 20 pulls. I actually think it's going to be a little bit more looking at this banner. You might get like 25. You want to pull on the standard banner and not the beginner's banner. And that's because you want to guarantee a character from the standard banner, which is completely random when you're doing these rerolls. The beginner's banner is going to guarantee you a standard unit no matter what. And so you play and you keep doing that until you get the standard unit of selection there. And then you will go from there. If you like the unit, then you can keep playing to get more pulls to get your guarantee from the beginner's banner. And then you'll have 2 SSRs that you want right off the bat if you do it that approach. Now, mine may be a modified version of this, in that I only care about, if I'm going to re-roll, the only person I really care about is getting Qingju, just because she's an amazing DPS even today on the CN version. So I may just go until I get her off that one, and then that'll be my game, and then I just get whatever I get on the beginner's banner regardless. We'll just have to see how long it takes to get enough pulls after getting Qingju from that standard banner to guarantee your beginner's banner. Because once you finish the beginner's banner, then you can see, because if that takes like another hour after, say, getting the first standard, then that one can start to add up a little bit too. Now, the odds are a little bit better in that one, because if after that, you're guaranteed to get a unit, then you're just rolling on that you get one of the units you want. And it's like a 50%, I say 50% chance to get what you want, because I would not want the bottom 3 here, but I wouldn't mind getting any of the top 3. Now, Sabrina, Sabrina's one that I'm like, I want her, but I really don't need her right off the bat because you can farm her. But any of them will do with that. And so with all this, let's go ahead and just take a look at the actual statistics behind this. So this can kind of help you making your decision of how you want to approach rerolling, especially or even if you want to do it in the first place. And so we're going to assume, based on the launch preview, that we're going to get these 20 pulls from that initial pre-registration immediately in the mail. We're going to assume it takes 15 minutes based on what I've read to get to the point that you unlock your mail and the pulls to get that. And then we have the global release celebration here, can be claimed by the in-game mail on December 5th. So that gives you the 5 standards as well as 5 targeted. So that's going to bring it up to 25 standard and 5 limited that you can do immediately upon those 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and look at the math here. So first thing is that you're going to have 25 pulls for the standard banner, and then you have a 6.6% chance to get a unit that you want. So that brings it up to a 13.97 chance that you get a unit. And then you have to take into consideration that you have a 50% chance to get a standard weapon. So if we go ahead and bring that down to a 0.3, that means you have a 7.24% chance to get a standard unit. And then for any specific unit that you are targeting on that standard banner, it's a 1 in 6 chance. So you got to divide this by 6, which takes it down to a 0.05% chance to get that specific unit that you want within 25 pulls. And so with that, you can see that you have just over a 1% chance of pulling that off. And so that we'll just round it down to 1%, say 1 in 100 chance of getting the unit you want. If it takes 15 minutes to get through to the point where you can pull, if it takes 100 tries to get the unit, then you can say that it's going to take around 25 hours to get that specific unit. Now, that's just saying if you get it in 100, nothing is guaranteed. As we've seen with gacha games, you could go to 200, 300, 400 rerolls to try and pull this off. So targeting a very specific standard unit can take a very long time. So I would say that you're going to have to go to maybe widening that net a little bit. Now, there is a little bit of I can say this is probably a little bit higher if you want to take into consideration my strategy, which is, yes, I am targeting a very specific standard unit, but there is other ways that I'll accept the account reroll, and that is if I will be throwing the limited pulls I get on the limited banner. And so that one has a 0.6% chance and within 5 pulls. So you have a 2.96 chance to get a unit in 5 pulls on the limited banner. Now you have the 50-50 you can lose, so you have just about the same odds, just a little bit better to actually get Tsunami on the limited banner within 5 pulls versus getting a very specific standard unit. Now, one thing that I will accept, and I think most people would accept, is if you pull on the limited banner, you use your 5 pulls, and you lose the 50-50. If you lose the 50-50 in 5 pulls, yeah, it sucks that you didn't get Tsunami, but you have her guaranteed now within 80 pulls, meaning you're only going to have to use 85 at most to get her. And that, I say, is a good win. And another reason for that is you can lose the 50-50, and if I got Quanju in that 5 limited pulls, I will take that. I'll take that in a heartbeat. And so that would be a huge win. I'd say that's a bigger win than actually getting her off the standard banner, because now I'm guaranteed to get Tsunami in 80 pulls. And so if you want to say that, if you want to take that consideration, if you put this into on top of the just over 1% chance you have you getting the specific standard unit, mathematically, I'm not going to actually, this won't actually calculate that math because you have to kind of combine them together, but you can say it's going to be about a 3.5 to 4% chance that you get an account that you're going to be happy with. And if you say that you have a 3.5 to 4% chance, that's 1 in 25 versus 1 in 100 chance of getting what you want. So it significantly increases your odds there of just walking away with something that you're happy with. And so that is kind of the way I'm planning it. And I'd actually say that's the better win, is getting the standard unit you want off of those first 5 pulls or the limited, just because of how much higher the odds are specifically. But with that, I do plan to start streaming this game as soon as it releases at 6 in the morning. I'm going to take Tuesday off because of that. and then from there we'll just kind of keep re-rolling and see how it works out for me. If I have any complications or the re-rolling's just is too tedious and it's taking longer than the estimated 15 minutes, then I may accept something just a lot less. We'll just kind of have to see how it works out. I mean, my worst case scenario is I do spend on these games, so I can spend money to kind of get myself ahead in the beginning versus other people who are re-rolling because they want to be free to plays or that case. So I'm not too worried. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes. But I am going to start streaming at 6 in the morning, and maybe I'll do it for like 2 to 6 hours, going maybe till 12, trying to get what I want. And from there, I just want to push the story because I do not want to miss any of like the dailies or weekly grinds that you can do on that first day, because I don't want to fall behind regarding levels and all that in the beginning of the game either. So we're just gonna see how it works out. And with that, if you like my content, you want to continue to see more on Girls Frontline 2 or Ash Echoes and sort of Convalia, the other two main games that I'm covering, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. I'm just about to hit that 700 subscriber milestone, so only 300 more to hit that 1,000 to get that full monetization. And once I do get my videos monetized, my goal is to 100% put any money I make on it into the gacha games. So it'll make it much easier for me to cover content, as I'll be able to pull for more units in the games. But yeah, thanks for watching.